Man, this sucks, man. Jeez. Alright, so I was getting ready to post this video. I finished it late last night, was going to post it now. And of course, right before I do, there's breaking news with the Eagles that I'm going to talk about before this video starts. And that is basically that Tyree Jackson, the impressive quarterback converted to tight end, that we have loved so far in camp, that has all the physical attributes you could ask for. He is raw, but he is very talented, 6'7". That tight end we're talking about, the guy that just killed it last week, 2 catches, 36 yards, but looked great. He is out 8 to 10 weeks with a fractured bone in his back. Now, this is not going to be surgery. There's no need for surgery, thank goodness, but he's going to be out 8 to 10 weeks, and I don't know what this is going to mean to his chances of making this roster. Will the Eagles do one of these, waive and then settlement things, or will they keep him? If it's me, okay, if I'm the Eagles, I'm going to use this as a blessing. I'm going to use this and try, not that an injury is a blessing, but I'm going to try to use the situation and stash him right now on IR. Put him there, let him rest, let him get fully healthy, and keep him on this roster, because you can't let this guy go. And I hope that this fractured back doesn't make the Eagles give up on him. He's too talented, he's too raw to just let him go, okay? It's worth the wait. Wait the injury out and get him back. Find a way to do it. But Tyree Jackson, out 8 to 10 weeks. One of the guys that I was going to talk about today in my preview video that's coming out later today, but he's out 8 to 10 weeks. Let's just hope the Eagles do the right thing. So the bad news is this. Kerryon Johnson didn't make the Eagles. He has been cut. The good news is this. Jordan Howard looks fantastic.
Hail the cowboy, Mr. McLean. You Americans are all alike. But this time, John Wayne doesn't walk into the sunset with Grace Kelly. Scary Cooper, asshole.
Oh, Dingbat! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! That was crazy!
Happy trails, Hans.
Dallas still stinks. You're right the way it came, Dingbat. Here in Philly 500 is my name. Double Moonwalker Mark Holmes is my game. And I was really excited back in June when we signed Kerryon Johnson. When we picked him off waivers, I said, oh man, this is a really sneaky good pickup, because I think he's going to compete with Jordan Howard for that number 2 running back spot. But just like many of the other battles that we thought we were going to have, there was no competition. Jordan Howard came in shape, he came in and looked fantastic, and he is the second best running back on this team. Now, before I get into all that, I gotta say, if you have the Newsbreak app, maybe you want to get the Newsbreak app, click the link in the description, give your boy a follow, I would appreciate it so very much. Now, I'm hoping that as you're watching this video, as you're listening to me, as you're looking eye to eye, I hope that it's the evening. I hope it's still Tuesday evening. I am back home late to film this video when I was hoping I was going to get it out. So this video may be out late tonight. It may be out Wednesday morning. We'll see. But either way, it doesn't matter, because the Eagles had to cut their roster down to 85 on Tuesday. And that's exactly what they did. And in doing so, they had to cut 3 guys. Casey Tucker, Luke Jariga, if I even say his name right, and then Kerryon Johnson, which was a slight surprise, but not really in the last few days, when you see how far back he was on the depth chart. But they cut those guys, they waive them with injury designation, meaning that if they clear waivers, they can come back on the Eagles IR, and then they can work out some sort of injury settlement, something like that. I guess technically they could keep them on the IR if they want to. I don't think that's going to happen. Most of the time, these guys settle and then they become free agents. And really, the biggest surprise, the biggest name on this list was Kerryon Johnson. And I can't just blame it on injuries, because I know he got banged up the other night, but he was really he was really surprisingly far back on the Eagles depth chart. I thought he would have been at least the number 2, maybe number 3 running back on this team. I thought him and Jordan Howard would kind of compete for that bigger back, short yardage kind of guy, change of pace to Miles Sanders kind of guy. But he didn't. It didn't work out that way. I mean, they had the other night during the preseason game last week. Miles didn't play, so you had Jordan Howard started, and then you had Professor Kenneth Gainwell. He was your number 2 running back, and then you had Boston Scott in there a little bit, and then you had you had Huntley. Then you got to Kerryon Johnson. So that was quite surprising, and I'll be honest with you. Looking back at the game and just watching him run the ball, he looked slow. Now, I don't know if that was because he was hurt, battling injury. He's had a lot of injuries over the years, so maybe that played a factor. But Kerryon Johnson is gone. And once I saw how far back he was on the depth chart, it wasn't a surprise he got cut. I just thought that he would have been able to, at least be the number 2 or 3 back. So he is gone. There's no competition. There's no competition between him and Jordan Howard, I should say. And that pretty much means Jordan Howard made this team. Jordan Howard's a lock to make this team at this point. Because really, he's the only big back you have left. Unless you're talking about Elijah Holyfield, who I would like to see them give him actual carries. Give the man actual carries. Let's see what he can do. You know what I mean? That would be really nice because we don't know. We don't know, and he didn't play the other day. Maybe they're saving him for week 3 of the preseason. I'll get to that later Wednesday when I put out my Eagles Patriots preview for that game. But it's very interesting how this running back group is shaping up. I would say that here's how the roster is going to look when it comes to running backs. You're going to have Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Professor Kenneth Gainwell. I think all 3 of those guys are locks to make this team. Professor Kenneth Gainwell looked really good, by the way. He looked like he looked a little stronger than I thought he was going to look, but he had good speed, caught out of the backfield. You could see why the Eagles are very high on him. So you have those 3 guys, right? And then you have Boston Scott, and you have Jason Huntley, and then Elijah Holyfield. Now, the thing with Huntley is people don't know that he can make it based upon him just being a running back. He's going to have to do something like make it on special teams, and it just so happens that's what he's really good at. He's really good at kick returns. He's very, very fast. And one of the things I like about this Eagle team in general is they got a lot of speed. They have a lot of speed. Philly Zoom back in the house, mother humpers. You know what I'm saying? So I really like the speed that this team has, but can Jason Huntley make it as a kick returner? I don't know. I mean, right now I would say it looks like it's going to be Miles, Howard, Professor Kenneth Gainwell, and then Boston Scott. I think those 4 guys are probably going to make the team. They have the inside track. So it's going to be interesting. But I would like to see Huntley come. I would like to see somebody make this team because they're good at special teams. And not just tackling or coverage, but I'm talking about somebody who could return kickoffs. You know what I mean? Quez Watkins, I got to tell you, he's becoming a little too valuable for me that I don't want to throw him in at kick returns because I know they've done it some with him. They've done it some with Devontae Smith. I don't think so. I don't want to do it no more. You know what I mean? I'll put Rager back there, but I ain't putting Quez Watkins back there. I'm just not doing it. Rager, I think he's very good at punt returns. Quez is too, actually, at least kickoff returns. But I would put Rager back there, not Quez. Huntley is a guy that I'm hoping can win that job. Boston Scott, Greg Wood Jr., I don't really like them in punt return, kick returns. It's like you're always going to get 2.5 yards. You're going to get 2.5 yards or a fair catch. I want something more explosive. So give Huntley a chance to win that job. That's what I hope happens. Now, if that means the Eagles have to keep 5 running backs to keep them, so be it. So be it. You know what I mean? But it's going to be interesting. But Kerryon Johnson, to go and to get cut this early is pretty shocking in a lot of ways until you realize how far down the depth chart he was. When I saw that unofficial depth chart the Eagles put out the other day or last week, I was surprised to see him so low. And then they go in the game, and it's like, yeah, he's really back there. And then he ran the ball a couple times. I was like, not what we need. So Kerryon, really the only surprise. Now you have the next round of cuts are coming next Tuesday. So Tuesday the 24th, we have our next round of cuts, and it should be interesting. It should be getting more and more interesting. There's a lot of different guys that are on the bubble that have played very, very good. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. This wide receiver position next week is the position I'm looking at where you're going to see some cuts come. Who's it going to be? I don't know. They're saying that today, Travis Fulgham, they're not just saying Travis Fulgham had a quiet day today, but they're saying he's had a quiet camp. They're saying it's been real quiet. And when I start hearing the chatter of a certain guy, to be honest, like over the last 3-4 days since the preseason game, right? Since after that first game, you started to hear the murmurs about Kerryon Johnson. Now we're starting to hear about Travis Fulgham. Travis Fulgham, he's not really doing much in camp. The Eagles thought they were going to get more. Quez Watkins has emerged. Rager has emerged. So, we've heard those things. Now we're hearing Fulgham is not really doing a lot. And, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is having some good days. So keep your eye on Fulgham, because I don't know what his leash is. I know this is hard for people to believe that they would cut him, but they're going to have to make some tough decisions at wide receiver. And to me, if you're not making, with the competition at wide receiver, especially how good you've seen Watkins and Rager, how good some of these guys have been, I think if you're not producing anything on the field and this coaching staff is really going full competition, then yes, Fulgham is in trouble. Fulgham is in trouble. Now, I don't want him to get cut. I want him to make the team. But I don't know what's happening. All I know is they're saying we're not getting a lot out of him. And all of a sudden they're like, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, best practice he has ever had. I'm like, no. I got rid of Stinkalor. I got rid of Nick Gary. Now I got to get rid of the Umbrella Man. So Fulgham better show up on Thursday night. That's all I got to say. And we'll talk about that, like I said, in my preview video, which should be the next video to come out if anything doesn't happen in between when this video comes out or when that video comes out. So, I don't know. You'll be either seeing this Tuesday night late or you'll be seeing it Wednesday morning, depending upon when I can get it out. But Kerryon Johnson, he is gone, and we are going to see some interesting battles this week during the preseason game. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. I am not a smart man. It's the truth. I've got to be the biggest moron in the world because I have a MacBook Pro, right? You go out, you spend all this money on MacBook Pro. Look at the slots. How am I supposed to fit this mother humper in here? It just don't work. It's too big. Okay? Which means I can't put this thing on my computer because I gotta fit that in there. You mean to tell me after you go out and spend all that money on computers and whatnot, I have to go buy a converter piece to fit this crap in? Unbelievable. Can we just go back to the days of the Commodore 64?